What's up, YouTube? It's Heretic here. So, anyway, I'm back with another vlog for you guys. We recently talked about the new tournament structure, which is pretty darn cool. The more I look at it, I wasn't so sure at first. Since I recorded that yesterday, though, I've kind of been like, okay, you know what, this is kind of nifty. The prize payouts are definitely really sweet. Prize payouts for regionals are awesome. Prize payouts for continental championships are sweet. So that's all real fine and dandy. I am looking forward to next season like there's no tomorrow now all of a sudden. Except for the fact that there's no states. That fucking sucks. Excuse my language. However, get used to that language because today we are going over the other bombshell in the room this week, and that is this year's World Championships. Now, as many of you already know, I came up short on some tiebreakers and a couple of events this year and finished the season with 285 out of 300 championship points. And I know I'm not the only person who did that. Rip, whatever, it sucks. It's life, you know what? I got wonderful things in my life. I got my wife, I got my son, I got all that I have done in the trading card game. I've got Steven Universe, I've got all the other things, these awesome people around me. I've got all of you. Thank you very much, every single one of you. You guys rock. So, I'm going to do something I probably haven't done all that much in a while, and that is just rip my teeth into some shit here. What the fuck is going on with the World Championships this year? Like last year, I know Stumbo and Snorton or whatever you want to call them, you know what, they went out there and they, you know, decided they were going to carry guns with them and say something, and it's like, you know what, no, fuck you guys. That's not cool. However, I don't think that means that Pokemon should go and get a small venue for Worlds this year. I mean, they had to have had this venue booked before the whole thing happened last year in Boston, because they announced in Boston last year that it was in San Francisco this year. But regardless, why would you not try to get a bigger venue for the World Championships when your player base is increasing? And instead, you're going to come out and you're going to say, okay, if you're not qualified for this event, then guest entry is extremely limited. You'll have to get a guest pass on day one, first come, first serve. You know, that's like, alright, you know what, that fucking sucks, but whatever. As long as you're not charging us and you're going to let us in, you're going to let some people in, get in line, get a guest pass, etc., okay, that's cool. But then you're like, okay, competitors under the age of 18, you will now get a guest admittance for one parent or guardian. One. This is in California, mind you. This is a place where I think a lot of people be like, oh, it's the World Championships. It's in Cali. It's out in San Francisco. Let's go take a family vacation. You know, like, hey, let's do that. Or maybe a juniors or seniors competitor, or even a young masters competitor who's like 15, 16, maybe both of his her parents, you know, maybe they both want to go make it a family vacation like that. Any siblings, maybe, you know, stuff like that. Like, yeah, who wouldn't want to go out to Cali, you know? So you're like, one. So that immediately begs the part, a lot of these guest passes, I feel like, should basically default be going to other family members of people who are competing, who are trying to make a family vacation out of this, so they don't get left out in the dark. And, you know, I would be all for that. But then you just took it a step further just today, after I recorded yesterday's vlog, mind you. This stuff was already on my mind, and you're like, no guest admittance whatsoever, one parent or guardian, we will do our best to accommodate others, no guarantees, first come, first serve. Well, we already knew that, but now it seems like you're cracking down even more, and no guest admittance whatsoever? What the fuck are you thinking? Do you know how many people are going to go there, or would have gone there, that weren't competing because they didn't qualify or whatever, not able to compete in the World Championships, but would still be spending their money at the Pokemon Center, and would still be, you know, like, the city would be making money, the venue could make money, and you guys, you know, you would have more people, a bigger crowd, you know, you could run more side events, you could get more people involved, but you're going to stick with this dinky, tiny-ass venue that can't even house... You know, I'm not even sure that it can house a regular-sized World Championship the way you guys are talking about it. Now, someone who's been there or to whatever it is, that hotel, or someone who lives out in San Fran, feel free to correct me. But, seriously, bullshit. You're going to say that I, myself, who did originally plan to go to the World Championships and now can't, along with several other people I know who were on the edge about, well, maybe we go, you know, like, maybe someone that they know is on the judging staff, or maybe someone that they know, you know, like, maybe someone's significant other is competing in the event, maybe they wanted to go cheer them on, you know, and you're gonna say no to this? Fuck you! That is not acceptable. I don't care what the fuck you think you're doing. If this venue is not big enough to accommodate this kind of an event, you go and find a bigger venue. It's San Francisco, for God's sakes. You got places all over. You make a shit ton of money. You know, I really appreciate the prize support that's going into this new season. I'm not even denying that one bit. But you're telling me that the World Championships, the highest level tournament all season, you hype this up all year long, and you're going to turn around and just close the door on all these people. And you're not even going to do it, you know, months in advance like you should have and say, hey, if you're not qualified, you can't go. No, you're going to wait until a little over a week before this fucking event happens, when people have purchased their plane tickets, reserved their hotel rooms, paid in advance, and cannot get a refund, and you're going to turn around and basically say, fuck you to all of us? Well, fuck you right back! Ugh. Ugh. Oh, that just puts me at a loss for words, ladies and gentlemen. Ugh. Like, I don't even know what, like, Pokemon trying to do here. Are you trying to make this event so exclusive that you're basically saying, if you're not a competitor, come check us out on Pokemon.com/live? Well, you know, a lot of people who want to keep up with it are going to do that. And as for me, I would love to watch it. If people I know are going to be on stream, I'd love to watch that. You know, and I don't think I can bring myself to the point of boycotting something solely because I'm pissed off at them. But let's just say I'm not too happy with the way they're running this event right now. I think you guys probably catch that drift already based on my outburst of emotion there. But there are some alternatives to this. Like, obviously, you can move the event. If you're going to have some side events, you know, first of all, why the fuck would you run them off-site? Like, again, it circles back to get a larger venue. You're telling me that you didn't think about this in advance. You're like, oh, no, we're going to have a smaller world. And then they're like, no, you guys knew last year, when you lowered the championship point requirement to 300, that there was going to be an influx in competitors. You had to know that. All you had to do was look at how many people had 300 points in the previous couple of years, and you could easily see it is going to go up drastically, because if I'm not mistaken, the year before that, the requirement was 500. Not as many people were going to show up for the grinder, except for maybe some locals and those who can make that drive if it's only a few hours. Like, no one's going to drive cross-country to run the grinder. Even casually competitive players aren't going to do that because it costs too much. But instead, you're going to say, okay, no, we're going to lower this to 300, but then on top of that, we're going to slam the door in everyone's face because, oops, we don't have enough room. Well, you probably should have thought about that. Don't plan for your target number that you think is going to get invites. You have to plan for more than that, people. This isn't just me throwing a fit because I didn't get an invite. You know, this isn't about me not getting an invite. I don't have an invite. Whoop de fucking do. That doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to attend the biggest tournament of the year. Meet people, hang out with friends, you know, record videos with all of you guys. I would love to do that, play some matches, do whatever. You know, sit down and play old formats with people. Something I didn't get to do a lot of at Nationals because they cut out the open gaming room and then kicked us out of the main venue because the Columbus Convention Center apparently has this stupid anal ruling where someone says, like, no, you can't be recording videos on site. You know, you're going to have to go back to the hotel. It's like, well, you know what? I guess we have to, but fuck you too. Like, seriously, what kind of shit is that? It's like, you know, first they say, oh, no, it's Pokemon. I'm like, well, that's pretty stupid. So we go outside the room. Oh, no, it's not Pokemon. No, it's the Columbus Convention Center. Bite me. You know what? All of a sudden, I wish you would have left it in Indianapolis again. I'll pay the damn hotel fee to go to Indy to be able to film on site. Seriously. Did you crack down on the attendance just because you made a boo-boo with a small venue? Is it big enough, maybe? You just don't want to let people in because of Stumbo and Norton? Because might I remind you, they were actually competitors last year, although, let's face it, they're gone now. That was something that should not have happened. If you want to have the bag checks, you know what? I fully support it. It's a pain in the ass to wait in that line, but if it's for people's safety, if you're going to potentially be saving lives, you do it. I'm all for that. Those fuckers didn't have a place in the Pokemon community if they're going to do that shit. But, if, you know, like, if you're going to talk about cracking it down, you know, and then, like, the whole open gaming incident, you're going to take away the open gaming from Nationals because some dumbass kids were writing on walls in the open gaming room. If you're doing it because of people selling shit, I got news for you. They're going to walk outside and fucking do it anyway. I don't believe in it, but you know what? That doesn't mean that other people are not going to do it. I mean, in the open gaming room at Worlds last year, you had more than half of those tables were taken up by people literally throwing their shit on the table and vending. Bring someone in there to escort those guys out. You know what? You catch them, escort them out, take a fucking picture of them if you have to make sure they don't come back in. God damn, how tough is it? Yeah, it means you probably got to have a couple people patrolling it, but let the people who play these games, who come out to these events once, twice a year, you know, Nats, Worlds, whatever, have their goddamn fun. Don't let a few people ruin it for everybody. Are you serious? Well, what's the big idea? You're gonna let 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many people ruin the World Championships for every person who did not get an invite, and I think in some cases for people who did get their invites, because their loved ones being unable to come and gain admittance to this event. Again, what the fuck, man? What kind of worm wiggled its way up your ass so badly that you feel the need to close this event to the general public? Are you trying to make it exclusive? You're trying to make these people feel entitled? Or, you know, like, I generally don't think that's the idea. Like, I think, you know, they're like, okay, well, small venue, sure, we could get a bigger one. But, you know, like, what is there? Are you trying to just splurge on the money? It's like, well, we're giving out a bunch of money now, which we weren't doing before, so we got to keep this money over here, you know, because we're rich and we're conceited. No, fuck you. You know what? ARG was going to knock Pokemon's asses in anyway, and as much as I love this game, and I really do, I love this game, but the way it's being run right now, you know what? Next year, sweet, awesome, but this world shit, the fact that Pokemon waited until a week before this fucking event to announce that it is not open to the general public, and just over 2 weeks until before this event to announce that it was going to be limited seating or limited availability even to get in. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I went and I bought my plane ticket. I had a hotel room all lined up with a team member from Draw Pass, and then you're going to basically say, okay, so you paid hundreds of dollars to go to this event, and now we're basically going to say, no, you guys are not allowed in. Fuck you. I can't say I'm too happy with the way they're running this right now. I think this was a piss poor job that Pokemon did of handling this. You added Pokken Tournament. It's a small crowd in comparison to the VGC even, which is much smaller than the TCGs. I don't know who at Pokemon or who it is that's, you know, made the decision to run it at some small-ass hotel venue rather than a bigger convention center, but you know what? This is a Pokemon World Championships. It is a convention. You hold it at a convention center. Those things have hotels attached to them. Come on. And you know, it's like, oh, well, San Francisco Con Center is expensive. Then take it up to fucking Seattle next year, for God's sakes. You should have done that a year ago. You announced it's in San Fran last year. You have to keep it in San Fran. You're not going to pull shit like that and move it. No, don't do that. But you got to think about this shit in advance. And Seattle would have been a cool place to hold a 20th anniversary anyway, seeing as to how that's where the very first Pokemon World Championships was held, when the game was still organized by Wizards of the Coast, mind you. But nonetheless, that's where the first one was held, 2002, ladies and gentlemen. That was my first World Championships. Last year was my second. 13-year drought, I know. It's whatever, you know. I didn't play for a while, and hey, I'm not the best TCG player, but I try. So anyway, I guess that's mainly what I wanted to get off my chest. Needless to say, post-Nats depression, which hit kind of hard and then kind of loosened up as we got closer to Worlds, it's definitely hit itself. It's fallen right back into that hole. You know, it started to happen with the announcement of limited seating, but then you go and close Worlds to the general public. No, you can't do that, guys. That's not cool. So I guess that's my rant for today. So I will catch you guys on the other side of the coin. Cheers.